Bro drowns once and suddenly thinks he's Poseidon with unlimited powers. He's got a system nagging his ass to eat more fish and evolve, and he literally collects a gigantic crocodile like it's a labubu. The Zhao family wants his organs, his academy wants his sanity, and our boy is out here collecting Pokemons to become stronger. It's a calm day. Our hero Wade finds his father gazing at the view. His father is stunned that his own son couldn't even recognize him for a moment. The old man wants to help go fishing with his son, but Wade himself is lost, utterly confused. They get to fishing and our boy ends up making enemies with a tiny crab. His father chokes and they share some good memories together. By the evening, Wade sets his sights on a beautiful red carp just sliding by. In an effort to catch it, this man dives right into the water. To his shock, while he's swimming down, there's no fish to be found. In fact, while he's floating about, there's no other fish in the area. His body fails to function, refusing to obey his command. It's like a sleep paralysis experience underwater. Wade cries out for his father to help him, to no avail. It's now night. The boy opens his eyes, murmuring his father's name. To his shock, he's all tied up in a boat. His captives, an old geezer called Xiaoxing and Zhang, have captured him. They even taunt his ass for dreaming about his father. Wade is still confused, baffled by his situation. Xiaoxing praises the intellect of Mr. Zhang, who actually tricked our boy in order to use him as bait for the water monster. It seems like they're out here hunting Godzilla. Xiaoxing turns to the kid and taunts him for sleeping without a care in the world while they were busy on night duty. Wade focuses on his thoughts, realizing he'd experienced another dream. Let's go back a bit and see how he got here. It's been 1 month since his body was transported into this world, inside the corpse of a child who passed from an illness. This boy doesn't have a mother, and his father's the only person raising him all this time. Unfortunately, his father too died of a disease only 3 months ago. The same emotions engulfed in the boy's body are now inside of him, a kind of feeling that he'd never experienced before. Taking his time, our boy adjusted to the new setting and the new world. Unfortunately, bro's luck turned to shit, and now he's being used as monster bait. After his investigations, he discovered that this world has crazy superpowers. Its people train very hard to reach powerful states. Such people are called cultivators. The same world is home to monsters who can train and become even more powerful. Mr. Zhang senses the arrival of the gargantuan beast, while Xiaoxing cries its name. The boat is engulfed by the creature's figure. Its thick-scaled body floats to the top. Mr. Zhang shits his pants because he thought the creature was only half a meter long at best. But the monstrous reptile encircling them is much larger. The beast shifts and creates tides. Mr. Zhang thinks he's an anime protagonist who will defeat the giant beast after 10 years of hard work. Bro's out here about to unleash Saitama's punch, declaring that it will shake the planet. Unfortunately, his heroism ends up in the gutter when the monster opens its house-sized jaw, utterly demolishing the human in a single bite. Xiaoxing is stupidly terrified seeing Mr. Zhang get turned into sushi. The old scumbag refuses to die and turns to the young boy. Mercilessly, he stabs Wade's hand with a sharp blade, before kicking our boy all the way down into the water. A trail of blood is leaking out from the wound. Wade can't even untie his hands to catch a breath. Using his teeth, he tries his best to untie the rope. Unfortunately, the streaks of blood have already attracted the monster's attention. He's about to end up in the creature's stomach, but he's at the end of his limits to do anything. Suddenly, the voice of his father awakens him. Even as he's drowning, Wade reaches out to grab his father's hand. Deep down, he knows that it's just a hallucination. But to his shock, he actually grabs the boat and rises to the top. Wade can't believe that his father's boat saved him. Unfortunately, the monster has different ideas about him and simply pulls him back down. The poor guy is begging to be saved, but the overgrown crocodile has already snatched his leg. The monster drags him to the bottom, while Wade understands that this is the end of the road. There's nothing he can do to save his life. So he says his prayers when suddenly the creature tosses him to the riverbed. Here, the creature lunges back, aiming to bite him again. Terror sets in as the monster opens its gaping wide mouth, seconds away from tearing the human's flesh. Wade closes his eyes, accepting defeat and losing consciousness. Suddenly, strange symbols begin appearing around him. The activation conditions for the water cauldron have been met, and a strange system fetches an instant skill for him called water control. His body enters a state of recovery. To his own surprise, Wade opens his eyes to realize that he's still alive. It's shocking because he should have died moments ago in the water. So he helplessly flails his arms, only to find out that the weight of the water no longer affects him. It's like walking on ground without any resistance affecting his body. What's more is that the system informs him of his new skill to manipulate water currents that normally drain physical energy. The ability to not only manipulate water but also breathe without issues are now part of his arsenal. Healing abilities are also part of Wade's skills. Bro has genuinely become Aquaman if you ask me. His worries are not over yet as the gargantuan croc bursts out from behind with its large jaw. Wade knows he's screwed, so he braces to meet his doom. Nothing happens. In fact, when he opens his eyes, the creature is entrapped in tendrils of water currents controlled by Wade. Checking his skill again, he discovers that this ability is similar to the one he reads about in fiction. That's right, bro has officially become an unstoppable fish in the water. Despite his powerful control over the currents, the physical might of the water beast breaks free and tries to attack him again. The creature fails to bite his leg because remember, he's now lighter than ever. Even Wade understands that this mother trucker of a crocodile is about to nuke his ass if he doesn't do something about it fast. Checking the system, he learns about a new skill, the Blood Dominion Talisman, allowing him to use his own blood to form a contract with the monster. This is a smart way to manipulate his situation, so Wade accesses the system's power, but he's losing time as the creature lunges forth, swiftly targeting him again for a clean finish. Our boy tries to float away, and thanks to his water current control, he instantly manages to capture the beast. Knowing that this monster is absurdly powerful, Wade intends to break its spirit. Unfortunately, the water monster is still too strong and breaks free. Here, Wade taps into the power of his second skill. He applies a talisman on the head of the creature and holds on to dear life as the monster opposes his will. The mighty aquatic beast is doing its best to overwhelm Wade's spiritual power, causing his eyes to bleed into black and his skin to turn into scales. Our boy senses that he's about to lose this battle, but then he remembers his original fate back on his world. Wade doesn't want to experience another death, and powers ahead, channeling 100% of his power to submit the creature. In the next scene, our boy manages to escape the waters. Somehow he survived the creature's wrath. The aquatic beast draws close to him, even emerging out on the land. Wade is glad to have forced the water monkey under his control, and the system outlines its details. Our boy instructs his new Pokemon to stay here until he needs something from the beast. So the large croc swims away, and can be contacted anytime using their spiritual bonded connection. Now that he's out of danger, Wade gets up to go home and eat some food. The good thing is that he's been in this world for a while, so he knows where his home is. Interestingly, the water monkey returns to its personal shelter, which is a beautiful cave full of beautiful flora. The following day, the same old scumbag is seen attempting to catch the attention of Steward Jung. Rumor is that they're headed to Wade's house, making the villagers wonder if there's something big going on behind the scenes. Lilabo, Wade's friend, hears this and instantly senses that his dear friend is in trouble. The men are about to invade the kid's house. The old scumbag geezer is already planning on taking our boy's fortune for the losses they incurred on their mission. He even blames the situation on Jung's uselessness. When this bastard didn't even do shit, he tears down the door to confront their target. To the bastard's shock, our boy's still alive. But because of him denouncing Wade as dead, the governor confronts his subordinate, questioning why he's rushing without explaining anything. Jung Shang learns about Wade's survival while the old geezer mocks the kid for being a cockroach who refuses to die. Jung signals his men to grab Wade, and well, he gets beaten up pretty fast because they all jumped him. The old scumbag reveals that the great warrior Zhang was brought to this village for the sole purpose of eliminating the water monster. He places all the blame on Wade for conspiring and being directly responsible for murdering Zhang, acting like the monster didn't just give them a run for their money in that fight. Wade speaks up, revealing the truth of the situation by sharing how he was the one tied up and used as bait instead. The old fart strongly opposes the truth and calls our boy a monster for betraying his village. The word monster brings back bad memories for Wade. When he was a little boy, the villagers distrusted him because of his orphan status. Little bro wasn't Bruce Wayne with his billions of dollars to protect himself either, so they accused him of the worst crimes. They laughed at him, bullying the kid like the typical comment section of an Instagram reel. Wade glared at them in anger, and they mocked him for that too. The good thing is, our boy was taught by Mike Tyson to punch these fuckers in the face for their insulting speech. Instead of shying away from the status of a monster, he leaned into it. He doesn't care if he has to reveal his powers, because this man's got David Goggins' level of resilience and he's a true survivor. So in his natural way, bro headbutts the old fart's balls. Not that he'd be needing them in his old age anymore. He reflects that if he really has to go down like a monster, then he'll tear these dudes apart and teach them a lesson. While he's powering up his water ability, the old fart turns to his daddy and requests taking the kid to Zhao Manor. He even tries to manipulate the steward's mind, believing that this boy will serve as the perfect meal for their little experiment, especially when he doesn't have any family. Convinced, Steward Zhao gives Wade a proposal to become Master Zhao's adopted son. That is the only way he will be offered freedom. However, the people of the village know very well that anyone who goes into Zhao's manor ends up disappearing for good. In fact, the whole family is suspicious of adopting many children who end up missing at the end. Out of nowhere, the village chief's voice roars as he enters the scene. This old man is luckily on the side of our boy and directly confronts the steward, who doesn't really have any options against the elder as he's the official in charge. The village chief goes off mouthing how insulting Zhao is, and how he has the capacity to report all of them. Steward Zhang is irritated by his sudden involvement and backs out for the day. However, he intends to forward this message to Master Zhao to settle the score. Their group leaves while Xiaoxing turns to taunt our boy once again. The village chief comforts Wade, requesting him to stay out of trouble from now on. His friend takes the elder out of his house, while Wade finds himself intrigued by his abilities. He knows that his life is bound to be in danger in the future. Though the village chief saved him this time, it might not happen again. Everything depends on him, so he decides that he's going to become even stronger thanks to the help of his new system. Suddenly, a notification sweeps him off his feet regarding his pet evolution. In the next scene, our boy is standing in front of a pond and channeling his newfound power. Having defeated the legendary crocodile, he calls for it with his new spiritual bond. The water begins to spiral and immediately bursts upward. Just when you think that there's going to be a legendary beast, a tiny crocodile emerges from the stream. Our boy panics in shock. Godzilla is now a tiny Zilla and he can't do anything about it. The system explains that each aquatic beast changes its size based on energy consumption. This is the monster's miniature form, allowing it to retain efficient stamina. Wade loves this feature. He's probably happy that he won't have to level up this little thing from zero. Anyway, he asks about the location of the water essence. Baby Zilla and him dive into the water searching for the essence. Wade finds himself arriving at a unique underwater cave. When he checks inside, he is bewildered, stunned by the majestic spirit plants glowing in the dark. Placing his hand on one of them, he learns that he can absorb the water essence from the spirit plant. The thing about this world is that it is full of spiritual objects that constantly absorb large amounts of energy. Plants of this category are called spirit plants, and Wade also heard that similar vines grow in the frozen pond of the Zhao family's backyard. Master Zhao actually persuades people and converts them into his followers through their essence. Excited, Wade wants to uncover just how much essence he can extract from the plants. He begs his tiny croc to contribute to the mission. But this little guy is a rebellious fellow who loves napping. Our boy is left all on his own, so he takes the plants out of the water. Having collected a few of them, Bro starts munching on their delicious flavor to absorb the essence. In this manner, he can help evolve his water croc and strengthen their bond. Wade ends up devouring all of his collected plants and ends up with a fat belly. The system outlines his stats for having consumed 25 water essences so far. The part that strikes him most interesting is the fusion element and the evolution element of aquatic beasts. Deciding to upgrade his stats, he presses the system button and instantly senses a powerful surge of power. With this, he's confident of his ability to defeat those clowns who harassed him. Thanks to his control over the water, he can maneuver his weight down to 45 kilos, making him lighter than ever on his feet. Unfortunately, he can't cultivate any more for the day, as more water essence is required for that. What worries him is the upcoming season of winter, where crocodiles mostly go into a hibernation period and stop hunting actively. Wade understands that he's going to have to endure the struggle alone, but to his shock, the little guy tosses him a giant fish out to eat. Wade grabs him and celebrates in joy, convinced that he can rely on Baby Zilla and sell the fish if needed. The following morning, he ends up selling the fish for 80 coins and gains a profit. The merchants of this world aren't even that stingy. They're easy to persuade, compared to modern salesmen of today. With his first problem solved, Wade emphasizes that he has to deal with those clowns as soon as possible. Speaking of the devil, Xiaoxing arrives acting like an old pal. He apologizes for mistreating the kid all this time, and I love how he literally glances over the fact that he nearly killed Wade twice. The old fart invites Wade to enjoy a fun meal by the boat, convincing him that there won't be anyone else to bother them. In reality, it's the most obvious trap on the planet. But Wade actually loves this and agrees to the plan, playing dumb to forward his own goals. Let's rewind a bit on Xiaoxing's situation. Who got his ass as punishment? Turns out that the mansion's test subjects have been failing so far. They want to target the kid because he's got no family, which will allow them to get away with their shady research. Xiaoxing accepted the order like the dog he is and assured them that he would return with the boy tomorrow without fail. Steward Xiaoxing assured him that if he successfully completes this mission, then chances are that he'll be favored by Lord Zhao to become immortal. The old man is excited for his reward. At long last, his maniacal dreams of becoming an immortal will come to reality. When he pops open his uniform, we actually see just how much torture his body has endured. He screams in excitement and pain at his dream becoming a reality. Back to the present, Xiaoxing has successfully trapped Wade on a boat. He even assures the boy that he has nothing to fear, and that this is the perfect opportunity for them to settle their differences. Wade turns to him, taunting the old man by questioning if he's really telling the truth. The scumbag assures him again, knowing that once Wade even takes a sip of the fish soup, his throat will cease to function and no one will come to his aid. To his shock, Wade gets up and towers over him. Xiaoxing questions what he's about to do, but our boy is quick on the offense and uses a bowl of water to suffocate the scumbag. Drowning on his own breath, the last thing he sees is Wade looking over at him. By night, the situation has been completely reversed. Xiaoxing wakes up to discover himself roped up. Wade even taunts him for sleeping soundly just like he did when they first met. The old man questions his intentions. Our boy replies by revealing the pouch of money Xiaoxing received from his superiors just to capture him. Playing his cards, the old man does his best to persuade our boy, but Wade turns his attention to the surroundings. It's not exactly the same place where they discover and catch the legendary beast. Suddenly, the humongous crocodile emerges from the water, frightening Xiaoxing to his core. Wade pets his new companion and assures the old man that the legendary beast now serves him as a pet. Quivering in fear, the old man starts calling Wade a literal monster. He's at his end and even ready to betray his people just to get out of this situation. Wade asks about the details of his mission, questioning the real purpose of the Zhao family mansion. Xiaoxing quickly reveals that those people are being used as experiments so that Lord Zhao can reach immortality. The bastard is working on his immortality pills, which requires experimentation on humans to refine them. Wade is lost in thought, realizing that these guys are responsible for capturing the innocent and mercilessly slaughtering them. Xiaoxing suddenly acts like he was forced into the role, but deep down he is waiting for a chance for Wade to slip up so he can turn himself into test subject. Responding happily, our boy prepares a rock and bashes the scumbag's face. The bashed blood stains his body, as Wade monstrously looks down on his corpse. Xiaoxing's body slips down into the water, while Wade fully understands that if he didn't dispose of him here, it would have cost him trouble later. Right now, he still has a long way to go to become stronger to face his opponents. Xiaoxing's body sinks down with his marked belly exposed. In the next scene, our boy is seen emerging from the water. Tiny Zilla is sitting on his shoulder. Ever since receiving his powers, Wade finds it convenient to hunt. Right now, he's trying to lay low and avoid suspicion after killing Shonjing. He has formed a routine in front of people by adopting the lifestyle. He even found an excuse for the boat by making shit up about Shonjing and acting like a victim in front of others. The problem is the people of the Zhao family definitely won't leave him alone. They know that Shonjing's disappearance is because of Wade, which is why he has to hurry and become a powerful martial artist. The best way to become one is to join a martial arts school. 3 of them reside in Pingyang town, and the Yang clan is the strongest of them all. The head of the clan is known for his immense strength, boasting the capacity to cut gold. He alone is the strongest among all. Wade thinks that if he can step foot inside the school, no one, not even the Zhao family, will be able to mess with him. The prestigious school will chase after their lost disciple and cause issues for his enemies. At the same time, Wade doesn't have enough money. He needs to find a way to gather funds quickly. Interestingly, Tiny Zilla laughs at him, as if reading his mind. Wade understands that he's overthinking a bit. The good thing is that his body is adapting to his new strength, allowing room for growth. He dives back into the water. His movements have become efficient and effortless. Lately, he's been racing against his little pet to hone his speed. The technique involves focusing water towards his feet and spiraling forward with a burst. It's kind of like a rocket, even though it gives a big boost in speed. It runs out of fuel quickly and taxes his stamina. Despite his incredible speed, a certain fish blitzes past him, leaving a trail of red. This beautiful creature is none other than a mystic fish. This world has certain classifications of species with unique powers. Among them, the mystic fish are those that live in the Great Marsh area. Luckily, Wade has found not 1 but 2 of them at the same time. His face lights up with excitement. But they're out here giving him a run for his money, cutting past full speed. Our boy uses Tiny Zilla to chase after one of them. The little dude transforms into his real form and chases after the fish. Wade does the same for the other one, regretting that he didn't bring a fishing net along. Using his incredibly fast speed technique with water flow control, he traps the fish in a cage of water. The next step is very easy, as he simply catches the thing with ease. But right as he's caught the fish, terror sets in. Wade was happy while storing the fish into his bag, knowing that it was going to land him a good amount of money. But then he found himself flicking across the water, tossed all the way down. A powerful creature has just appeared out of nowhere, its face resembling a dragon's. Wade struggles to comprehend where this thing even came from. He wasn't expecting a man-eating catfish to attack him so suddenly. His trouble gets worse when the creature plans another strike. Deploying the same water sphere technique from earlier, Wade stuns the monster with his attack. It's not enough to stop the beast as it still attempts to strike him. Our boy dodges while the snickering beast laughs at the human's attempts. Poor guy gets launched by a massive tail whip out of nowhere, thanks to our green boy humbling his ass. The crocodile goes on to snap its body inside its jaw. Using this as an opportunity, Wade decides to form another contract. Activating the blood command seal, he traps the monster into his spell. But here's the twist. The system sends tons of messages urging Wade to stop, as his actions are nearing a mental overload. The energy is beginning to backlash, and Wade is starting to lose his mind. His body begins to morph in a beast-like state, and suddenly, reality hits him. In the next scene, he rises out of the water. Wade is exhausted, having nearly lost his total body control after attempting the sealing process. Luckily, he actually managed to trap the beast and now has a new summon by his side. Having tamed the six-whiskered catfish, Wade now has access to an evolution cycle. By spending 800 points of water essence, he can evolve the creature into a tiger-headed catfish. Mocking the little guy, our boy decides to dub his new name as Chunky. Next, he empties his bag for the mystic fish. The other one caught by Baby Zilla is also given to him. Our boy pets the little croc for always being reliable. Right now, he's got a ton of fish saved up. Wade cooks up one of the mystic fish to see if it has any effects on his body. After devouring the little fish, he keeps its horn as a souvenir to remember it and boosts his water essence by 18 points. It's exciting because he only consumed a small mystic fish, which means consuming the other one could give him 3 times the reward. With it, he can easily enhance his fusion rate by several percent. However, Wade decides to hold off on that for later, knowing that his first priority is to gather funds for the academy. We arrive in the bustling marketplace of the city. Here, our protagonist is walking around questioning why the festival is being celebrated so early. Ji Chang makes a show by revealing his capture of a mystic fish. The people are stunned by his rare find, boasting the Chen family's incredible hunting skills. Wade is surprised that another dude caught a mystic fish, and makes his way through the crowd to see it on purpose. Coming up to Ji Chang, our boy announces how the river is blessed by the gods with the capture of 2 mystic fish. Immediately, people call him out for lying as Ji Chang only caught 1. Using this opportunity as bait, Wade reveals his enormously large mystic fish. The people, instead of praising him, actually mock him for grabbing an ugly fish and pretending like it's a mystic fish. Even Ji Chang smirks in arrogance when suddenly a certain man comes around praising the high-quality red fish. It's Hu Chi, one of the instructors from Yang Clan's academy. He comes up to Ji Chang, who is terrified of the man's presence. Intimidated, he can't even name the price. Hu Chi offers 150 for the fish, which is an amazing offer in Ji Chang's eyes as he seals the deal. Pitching in, our boy reveals his mystic fish as well, looking for a trade of his own. The people around him mock the kid for angering the martial instructor. While they're mocking him, Hu Chi realizes that it's the real deal. Not only does it weigh more, it's also a rarer type. The instructor instantly offers more than double the price for it, stunning the crowd with a loud jeer. Ji Chang is at a loss for words while the other people still seem to have a negative impression of our boy. Wade humbly requests the instructor's opinion on why his fish is more expensive than the other one. Hu Chi explains that the oxhorn pomfret has special horns that can be used in medicine. It's useful to him in his personal cultivation progress. After hearing that explanation, Wade is glad that he kept the horns after consuming the other fish. With his money collected, he counts down on his savings. Suddenly, Ludibo comes out of nowhere and surprises him. Wade is thankful for his last-minute save because he's the one who brought the village chief when Shaoxing raided his house. Ludibo jokingly asks for the amount as a payment, while Wade curiously asks him how much it costs to join the Yang Clan Academy. The good thing is that Ludibo's father already intends to send his boy there, so he knows all the expenses. The academy charges about $350 for tuition and $1,000 for lodging and other expenses. It's a pricey place to be, but it's good for Wade, who has already collected $455 in his savings and can use them for his savings. Excited, he gets up and announces that they'll sign up tomorrow. Ludibo is thrilled to go with his friend, while Wade suddenly receives a telepathic message from his pets informing him of another mystic fish. Let's go over and visit Steward Zhang Shang, who informs his master of Shaoxing's disappearance. His master doesn't care about insignificant affairs, and basically tells him to touch grass and handle it on his own. That night, Wade is out to hunt again. He cuts down a bunch of wedgies and pours them into a pan. By the end of his cooked meal is a delicious cooked fish stew. Wade chugs it down and enjoys its delightful taste, even offering some of it to his little pets. Thanks to the mystic fish's influence, the water essence in his body is increasing faster and faster. It's fortunate for him that his companions are hunting fish while he's busy. Thinking of it as a great opportunity to upgrade, our boy pops open his inventory and refines his strength. A jolt of aura bursts from within, and his current system stats are linked up for display. The one thing that Wade is currently lacking is a sparring partner to hone his skills. His command over the water has seen noticeable progress. He can even fling objects out of the water like he did with Chunky Boy just now, before tossing him back in. Both of the essential requirements for his summons have also disappeared. Each of them require around 800 water essence to evolve to the next level. Inspecting the cauldron in his hand, Wade questions if it's a man-made object or a force of nature. It boggles his mind, so he looks closer and discovers an inscription of a Ying dragon, as well as a massive ape called Wu Ji. There are gods with human heads, and the final side shows an emperor dressed in black. There's a lot to take in, but Wade doesn't think it's important for him to think about. His first priority is the Martial Hall, where he will become much stronger to face off the Zhao family's wrath. The next day, the two best friends set off for the journey. Lilibo appears more excited than ever, while Wade is barely managing along. They've arrived in Pingyang town, where they first enjoy a bunch of steaming dumplings and some fun activities. While this is happening, a few men are preparing for their arrival. It seems like these thugs overheard Wade's conversation with Lilabo the other day. They want to steal both of their admission fees before they make it to the academy. The leader of the thugs arrogantly thinks that such a large amount of money shouldn't be given to a martial school. They're calmly waiting for the kids to pass by an alleyway where they will commence their attack. Speaking of which, Wade and Lilabo are walking in their direction. They're not even paying much attention to their surroundings and simply striking conversation. Suddenly, the goons step in front of them. Their leader orders them to surrender the money and threatens to kill them if they don't. Little do they know, Wade has been dying for a fight. The thugs clock their fists to take him down, but Wade instantly whips his haymaker and knocks the teeth out of one of them. Another guy acts like a smartass by jumping him from behind. Wade elbows his face, helping him with a bloody nose before smashing his body against the first one. With their leader distracted, Bro goes on to utterly demolish this guy's face into the ground. I can't imagine anyone being alive after eating that much concrete for breakfast. Lilabo is dazzled by his friend's movements, questioning how he was able to dismantle multiple people in a total of 9 moves. Wade, on the other hand, seems just fine, impressed by his physical strength increase. His buddy is out here baffled how Wade became so strong, because at this point he may not even need the guidance of an instructor. Our boy acts like he's a natural-born genius and moves forward, but Lilabo is deeply suspicious of him. Anyway, we arrive at the academy to discover senior brother Shang, who greets both candidates. He takes them on a walk to meet a proper instructor for their test, as well as certain details about warriors. Senior brother Shang also introduces senior Hu, who is the direct disciple of the head of the clan. Wade takes one look at the guy and immediately finds himself shocked. This guy is the same one who bought his fish from the marketplace. He recalls the purchase of the bullhorn pomfret fish, allowing him to advance further in his development. Senior Shang leaves them to train under the guidance of Hu, allowing them to stay in the martial hall. Both candidates offer their utmost respect for the two brothers. Hu tells them to follow him for their first test involving the inspection of their bone structure. It's a unique kind of test which will determine what path is best suited for each of them. Wade doesn't have the slightest clue about the cultivation paths, and requests Hu to explain the principles. The instructor shares that the foundation is divided in 4 stages: skin, flesh, bone, and finally blood. Skin barrier allows for tremendous defense. Flesh barrier is for immense superhuman strength. The bone barrier increases one's output of power, while the blood barrier is centered around enchantment, which can be applied in various ways. Everything boils down to a single concept of refinement. For most people, refinement still has a limit. In order to break such limits, technique and medicine are used to climb further. The idea of technique and medicine stuns both of them. Hu goes on to share examples of martial arts skills, such as the 3-fist techniques. Picking apart this information, Wade realizes that the master is talking about cultivation techniques. Though techniques offer a steady trajectory upward, they have a learning curve of mastery. Medicine is much easier and allows one to climb faster. It requires certain ingredients, just like how Master Hu purchased the mystic fish from Wade so he could create his own medicine. The good thing is that our boy can easily get his hands on materials like these, thanks to his summons. The martial arts instructor assures them there's no need to rush, placing focus on mastering the initial step first. With the explanation wrapped up, Wade suggests that they quickly wrap up the bone structure assessment. While this is happening, a certain group is quietly observing our duo. Hu Yunsai has been ordered by a young master of the Zhao family to expel Wade and Lilabo out of the school. Zhao Shuinyuan is more than happy to fulfill Yunsai's request, as long as he can fulfill this mission. Let's go back and see how he got tangled up in this mission. Shu Yuta's father received a report from the steward revealing information about Wade and how he was an ideal candidate for their cause. They thought that the boy's capture could ensure the safety of Master Zhao's 3rd child. The fact that our boy shares the same age as him makes him an ideal candidate. While this was happening, Shu Yuta overheard their conversation and found Wade's photograph after the steward threw it away. It was here that he realized he had the perfect chance to use the mission for his own cause, helping him break through the next stage. Back at the academy, Lilabo is freaked out over the fact that Wade has an outstanding bone structure. Meanwhile, he's considered average by comparison. Again, our boy dubs it as a work of talent and nothing else. Their next destination is the martial training grounds. Here they run into Jay Chang, the same kid who sold the mystic fish the other day. Lilabo is stunned to find this guy here, and it turns out that he joined the academy as well. Seems like they have beef between each other. While our boy does his best to stop them from killing each other, Wade politely greets this guy, but he's still got to stick up his ass. It seems like he had a good friendship with Liang Kru, the original owner of Wade's body. Wade politely asks him if he's here to train martial arts. The guy agrees, championing how everyone wants power. He saved up enough from his fisherman routine to take an admission here. Wade is actually proud of him and recommends they head to the training grounds together, where the instructor is waiting for them. Let's head over to the training grounds. Here, copy-pasted half-naked men are punching air, while Lilibo is out here fighting for his life. Wade and Ji-chang are struggling the same, until finally the instructor stops them and recommends everyone to take a break. Their second training will continue later in the afternoon. All three of our boys are done for, until a certain group comes up to harass them. Yunsai and his goons openly insult Wade and his friends for reeking of fish stench. Their bullying campaign has begun. Yunsai mocks them by asking for 100 coins in order to stay at the school. Lilibo is easily caught up by their provocation, while Ji-chang begs him to maintain his composure. Wade is quietly observing the situation, calculating his chances of victory against three trained martial artists. Yunsai gears up for a fight, acting like he's a Chad when he's really picking on a bunch of newcomers. The worst part is that he's close to breaking through his skin barrier, which makes the fight even more difficult for Wade if he chooses to attack. The scene is tense, and just when it looks like something's about to happen, a roaring voice confronts Yunsai and his goons. It's Instructor Hu punishes all three of them by forcing them to stand in stance for 30 minutes. Before leaving, Yunsai cowardly provokes them again. But the moment he turns around to see Instructor Hu, Bro turns into an innocent kitten who doesn't know any wrong. Lilibo channels the hatred of the readers and flips him off for being a cunt. Ji-chang argues that it's pointless to do that, while Wade is out here realizing just how powerful he needs to become to take on guys like these. Surprisingly, he takes an early leave and heads right back home. The shocking part is that he's skipping the afternoon's training session too. Lilibo and Ji-chang are both stunned by his sudden withdrawal. Meanwhile, our boy is headed right back to the Lotus Pond, hoping to become even stronger by looking for more powerful enemies. By night, Wade's besties walk out of the training grounds, wondering where their buddy went. He disappeared for the entire day. Ji-chang uses this as an opportunity to piss him off, and they start hounding each other again. Suddenly, their attention is drawn towards a certain individual. The same bastard Yunsai has conveniently run into them, except this time there isn't any teacher around to save their lives. Both Ji-chang and Lilibo are in massive trouble as the senior threatens to cripple their bodies. Heading over to Wade's side, he's currently busy with his two monstrous summons sailing the waters. Wade understands that Tiny Zilla and Chonky are relatively close to skin barrier strength, and even then they send him a warning, as if they'd discovered something even more powerful. It makes him wonder what type of ferocious monster he's dealing with here. Our boy arrives at the location and uncovers some vines, only to discover a gigantic trail left by the creature. Both of his summons return to tiny sizes, while Wade notices a significant change in his body. Ever since he consumed the mystic fish, he's capable of controlling 35 kg in water. What's more is that his perception has sharpened up to 6 meters, helping him break down the exact details of the waterbed. Wade's body succumbs to fear when he spots an enormous monstrosity. Its claw makes him wonder if he's facing a crab. When the vapors settle, a calamity emerges in the form of a titanic crustacean. A monster of this sheer size and strength could only be classified as a spirit beast, as it far surpasses the skin barrier level strength. Wade turns to his tiny croc, believing that the monster probably isn't too strong because then it would have killed both Chonky and Tiny Zilla with ease. Right now he's under heavy pressure. It's a beast of immense size and strength, and our boy doesn't even have a plan in store to do anything. It's true that he needs to overcome this hurdle to become even more powerful. Memories of his jeering past come flushing back into his mind. He has many enemies that will trouble him one day. Wade accepts his life as a bundle of accidents and dangerous encounters. Despite the danger, he understands that the most important events in life truly require some form of risk. Even if this whole thing is unplanned, he doesn't want to give up, especially not when he's banking on the chance to become even stronger. The old man Shaoxing threatened his life and inevitably met his doom. Wade is thrilled to unleash the same fate upon the mighty crab, denying it any access to his lotus field. The Battle of Behemoths begins as both of his summons charge full speed ahead. Wade joins them on the attack as they take on the mighty beast. While this is happening, Ji-chang is out here getting bitch-slapped by Yunsai's crew. They're most interested in Wade, who is nowhere to be found here. Using his environment to his advantage, Ji-chang grabs a slab of stone and literally smashes it against Yunsai's face. But here's the thing. Remember that whole bit about skin barrier giving you immense defense? Yunsai didn't even flinch from the attack and proceeded to stomp on Ji-chang's face, humiliating him for having a death wish. He signals his goons to watch the gate for a while, allowing him the chance to torture these kids. Yunsai's lackeys, the Three Stooges, agree to his command. Lilibo gets up whirling a fist and cursing Yunsai, but this bastard grabs his arm and breaks it instantly. Yunsai puts him on the ground, wondering where Lilibo's big talk went. Ji-chang, on the other hand, probably needs cosmetic surgery because this dude is looking hella beat up. Yunsai literally threatens to pierce his eyes out. Meanwhile, poor Lilibo is helpless and begs him to stop. In the end, no one is there to prevent Ji-chang's demise as he screams for his life. Back to the fight against the overgrown crab. The thing grabs a giant boulder and crushes it, forcing dozens of pellets to strike Wade. Thankfully, he dodges the attack, but the biggest problem is the crab's tough shell, making it impossible to cause damage. The giant croc recommends they use its static movement against it. The beast takes a bite out of its claw, while Wade follows it up via an empty water current spell. Finally, Chonky enters the fight, but suddenly Wade experiences a mental backlash from the usage of his ability. The crab isn't done yet and frees its claw from the water currents. It's here that Chonky the catfish delivers a powerful blow, knocking one of the creature's eyes out from the massive thrust. The crab withers in pain while Wade sets his sights on the precious spirit plant. The gigantic beast slams our boy with a heavy blow, so hard that Wade coughs out blood from the force of the impact. He returns to the seabed despite incurring the heavy damage. This man is hell-bent on slaying this crab today. He stares up at the enormous monster, readying a second claw strike. From their fight so far, Wade has already uncovered a weak spot of the creature. First, he dodges the beast's attack, before ordering Chonky and Lazy Zilla to attack full speed. The crab is too caught up with Wade and gets restrained by both monsters on each side. The one thing Wade noticed every time he attacked is that the crab loves protecting its abdomen. This likely means that it's his main weakness. Charging his spear with the power of his water currents, Wade sets his sights on maximizing power. He spends a good portion of his mental energy to allow the spear to break through multiple stages at once. It's an attack so taxing that he spews out blood, and even the system warns him to be careful as it can overload his body. Wade isn't going to stop because this dude is built differently. He throws the mighty spear with incredible brute force, declaring the lotus field to be his. The moment the spear comes in contact with the creature's abdomen, it instantly pierces through its shell and goes out the other side. At long last, victory is his. Wade wins the fight, but loses himself in the water. When he wakes up, he realizes that he passed out. Both his summons became responsible in rescuing him while he was down. Bearing through a headache, Wade realizes that he might really have to rework his technique. To his sheer shock, the body of the demonic crab is placed right next to him out of the water. Turns out both his summons managed to drag it all the way to the top. But this is great news for our boy, who is picturing large amounts of water essence to be absorbed from the crab's flesh. Suddenly, the croc points to the beast's body. Turns out that they were fighting a female crab all along. What's more is that this one was in the process of laying some crab eggs. It's a wasteful opportunity that he was unable to tame the beast, but now he can correct his loss by using the tiny crabs instead. Putting all of the eggs on the ground, Wade begins to wonder if his taming process will affect the eggs or not. To test his theory, he slices his hand and activates the talisman through his blood. The talisman is successfully placed on top of one of the eggs, and right afterwards the shell breaks with a tiny claw popping out. Inside is the cutest little happy crab on the planet. The stone crab has been successfully tamed, and it requires 8,000 total points to reach its ultimate form. Next, Wade pops open the delicious crab meat from its shell and chucks it in his mouth. His fusion rate after consumption increases by loads and until it towards up to a staggering 36%. Wade's body experiences a jolt of energy as he screams at the top of his lungs, scaring his little companions. By the end of the procedure, a spiral of energy looms around him. All of his injuries sustained from the fight are gone. One could say it's an act of a miracle. His little guys are happy to see him thriving, while our boy comments on his climbing fusion rate. He also gained extra energy points just from the fusion process alone. This time he can sense the blood energy within his body taking form. Recalling Instructor Hu's words, Wade thinks that he might be moments away from breaking the skin barrier and potentially becoming even stronger than that. As for the rest of the eggs, Bro feeds them to Tiny Zilla and Tiny Chungus, allowing them to consume 6 points per egg. Fist is the name of the crab from now on. And luckily our boy isn't cruel enough to feed its own siblings to further its evolution. Wade understands that the moment he breaks through the skin barrier, he'll undergo an evolution and qualify himself to join the Martial Hall. At that point, the Zhao family will no longer pose a threat to him. With a smile on his face, he decides to return back to the Martial Academy to gear up for tomorrow's training session. You might be thinking that our boy has arrived to save the day by calling out Yun Sai, but it's actually Lu Xiaohui who orders the kid to stop as the academy's got its own rules. Instructor Lu is the only reason Yun Sai stopped, and he even openly reveals that he's just fulfilling the orders of the third Zhao young master. The revelation stuns him as the student turns to Instructor Lu, calling him a dog and questioning his loyalty to the Zhao family against the rules of the academy. Yun Sai and his hooligans laugh at him for leaving the Zhao family and acting like a big shot. Their insulting words get even worse. Turns out that Instructor Lu and his father were taken in by the Zhao family at a young age, so he grew up serving them like an obedient dog. Yun Sai also reminds Instructor Lu that his father is still working for the family. It's only him that exited the family. Instructor Lu finds himself at the edge of frustration, apologizing to his father for his actions. Yun Sai and the others belittle him, calling him Lu the lapdog for staying put and remaining obedient. Suddenly, Ji Chong spits at Yun Sai's face. This poor guy has lost one of his eyes already, and he still wants to mess with him on his last breath. Ji-chang calls Yunsai pathetic, who casually wipes off his face before giggling enjoyably. He goes up to Lidibo's broken arm and stomps it even more, causing him a whirl of agonizing torture. This is Yunsai's way of punishing Ji-chang for acting like a hero. This time he's just gonna torture Lidibo and crush Ji-chang's soul. The helpless kid begs him to attack him instead, while Yunsai towers over his head, mocking him for thinking that anyone's even gonna come to their rescue. With Instructor Hu gone, there's no one around. But I guess he shouldn't have said that because just then, one of Yunsai's goons is sent flying from an attack. The worried bastard turns around to see a looming shadow of Wade. This time, this man has come prepared, his determined eyes glaring at his opponent. When he takes one look at Ji-chang and Lidibo's condition, his blood boils and his body sears in flames. Fiercely, Wade declares that he'll knock out every last one of Yunsai's teeth. While this is happening, it appears that Instructor Hull and his master are quietly watching the scene unfold. Senior brother Hull apologizes for arriving far too late and letting the situation escalate to such an extreme. They watch with interest and shock of Instructor Hull letting things slide. Master Yang argues that Lu was willing to jump in until he was threatened not to. That's one reason why he's incapable of breaking past the blood barrier. Lu's courage is lacking in spirit. Instructor Hull recommends they jump in and help Wade, as there's no shot in hell he's winning this fight on his first day. Yunsai is close to breaking the skin barrier, so it appears impossible, but something about Wade intrigues the head of the martial school. The man observes with keen interest. This kid's blood energy pattern is different from others. Zooming in on the fight, Yunsai taunts Wade for acting strong. But our boy isn't in the mood to talk. He simply lunges forth with incredible speed, repeating his earlier declaration of breaking this guy's teeth. Yunsai sends his men after the kid. Our boy kicks one of them down, dodges another's attack before returning a powerful blow. The third opponent tries to kick him, but to his shock, Wade is much faster on the offense and whacks his face. With the three hooligans down, our boy turns to Yunsai to deal the ultimate punishment. Yunsai thinks Wade is being arrogant for thinking he can take him on. His current level of strength doesn't faze Yunsai at all, but Wade doesn't give a damn and merely glares at him. Their epic showdown commences with both fighters going blow for blow, except Wade appears to have the edge on every hit. He deals a staggering uppercut, destroying Yunsai's jaw and knocking the life out of him. Despite his exhaustion, Wade is confident in his victory and calls Yunsai a pathetic lowlife. His opponent takes out a weapon and literally stabs our boy with a massive gash. Yunsai's offense continues as he continues to stab relentlessly, calling Wade a fatherless fool with no one to protect him from harm. Suddenly, Wade catches the blade through his hand, stopping this guy's fatal fury. First, he calls him pathetic, then clocks his fist by adding that he's also a pathetic coward. His punch smashes Yunsai into the ground, knocking the wind out of him. Right now, Wade appears emotionless and cold, like a monster, while his tortured opponent is a sobbing mess, begging and pleading with Wade to stay away from him. He even tries to call Instructor Lu to intervene on the Zhao family's behalf to enforce rules of the academy. The double-minded instructor is at a loss for words, when suddenly a gigantic sword plummets just next to their side. Master Yang, the head of the martial school, has officially descended. He points out all of Yunsai's members and expels them from the martial hall, banning them for life. As for Instructor Lu, he will be punished accordingly for betraying the academy for his own interests. Meanwhile, Wade has sustained a ton of injuries, and yet he still finds himself fixated on the legendary appearance of Master Yang. The boy thinks that his future at this school is permanently extinguished, now that he's caught in such a terrible mess. One thing Yunsai said was absolutely true. Wade doesn't have anyone defending his back. He succumbs to the miserable reality, believing that his actions were fruitless in the end. Master Yang asks for the boy's name, before shockingly asking him if Wade wants to become his direct disciple. His sudden question knocks the wind out of Wade, as the head of the martial school extends his hand in helping him progress. At the Yang household, a bunch of people are snickering about Master Yang's ninth direct disciple. Some of them even heard that this kid is quite handsome for his appearance. Our boy has quickly become a ladies' man, and these chicks are even willing to help him put his new ceremonial clothes on. Wade declines their offer because he's not a simp and requests handling them on his own. The girls exit his room, allowing him a relief. 2 weeks have already passed since he beat the shit out of Yunsai. All of their injuries were carefully treated thanks to Master Yang's personal treatments. Having joined his new master's side, Wade considers himself lucky to have a solid backing by his side. At long last, he won't be hunted by the Zhao family, and instead take out his revenge on them. Outside, Master Hu is out here glazing our boy. He's telling people stories of how Wade managed to defeat a powerful opponent right on his first day of joining the academy. The other senior brothers are getting tired of his yapping, as he doesn't seem to shut up about Wade's potential. Among the seniors is also Zhao Shaoqin, who teases the fourth brother for his gift for the new disciple. Turns out that he gave Wade a steel arm guard, which is supposed to be quite expensive according to Instructor Hu. Finally, our boy steps out in his robes, the newest junior brother to the family. Wade looks majestic in his formal attire as he greets them politely and bows down with great respect. Wade has received all his gifts except from one of the senior brothers, who quickly offers him a fine piece of tungsten steel. Wade's face lights up at his offer to help craft him a new weapon whenever necessary. The fourth senior brother thinks they should head to the hall now where the head of the martial hall is waiting. While celebrations are happening at the Yang School, things are the opposite at the Zhao Manor. Steward Xiang reports having discovered Xiaoxing's corpse at last, but to his shock, he discovered a ripped-open stomach, which means someone took it. Master Zhao slams the steward with a thunderous bitch slap for being useless. If someone decided to expose them using Xiaoxing's markings, it could pile up into a huge deal against the family. The steward cries out and pins the blame on Wade, suspecting that the boy is responsible for killing Xiaoxing and unleashing what was inside of him. Master Zhao doesn't like his excuse because just recently, he has also heard about Wade becoming a direct disciple under Yang. This means they can no longer mess with him anymore. Looming over his face, he orders his incompetent butler to do whatever he can in his power to find what was taken from Xiaoxing's body. As for Wade, the situation remains ambiguous on what the Zhao family intends to do with him. Back to the martial hall, our boy is greeted by the head of the clan, who requests to take him as his official disciple. Wade swears loyalty to their cause. Master Yang reminds the boy to exercise noble qualities in the sect and to respect his superiors. Abusing of power is considered treacherous and advised against. Wade agrees to every condition, which leads to Master Yang commanding him to drink the special tea. The moment he does, no one will bully him anymore, as his own master will back him every time. Wade happily and humbly accepts his new life. At the martial school, students are training intensely. They finally catch a break to rest and immediately start discussing our boy's direct tutelage from the head of the clan. They're even more thrilled that a loser like Yunsai and his gang are no longer a part of the school. While they're talking openly, Shui Yuan overhears them. The young master of the Zhao family is deeply infuriated. As for Wade, he's currently sharing a meeting with Brother Hu, who tells him about the 7 paths that diverge from the 4 barriers. The 7 paths consist of Wild Horse, Wolf Smoke, Tiger Hunt, Supreme Elephant, Celestial Dragon, Smelting Furnace, and finally Rainbow Transformation. The Wild Horse path allows one to gain immense power to stop dozens of horses. The Wolf Smoke realm specializes in intimidation and blood energy. The Tiger Hunt realm paralyzes its opponents. Supreme Elephant, on the other hand, shakes the very earth with each step. The ones capable of reaching this level are considered generals. Then there's the Celestial Dragon realm, where one literally becomes a divine dragon and separates from the bonds of the world and becomes a martial saint of a country. The final 2 paths, Smelting Furnace and Rainbow Transformation, are so mysterious not even Instructor Hu knows about them. They're considered the best of the best. All of this has Wade wondering if he can somehow return back to his original world, as long as he can achieve total ascension. Curiously, Wade asks about his master's level. Instructor Hu starts off by asking him about the 3 schools of Pingyang. Aside from the Yang Martial School, the other 2 are incapable of moving outside of the nation. But Master Yang is built differently. He only stays because he considers it his hometown. Their school is deemed number 1 merely because Master Yang is the sole person to have crossed into the Tiger Hunt realm. The shocking part to Wade is that he can easily reach Yang's level thanks to his system. Their morning lesson ends quickly. Senior Brother Hu urges him to take cultivation slowly to achieve progress. But all of this has Wade excited. He's done with the Zhao family, there won't be anything endangering him there. First, he needs to capture a spiritual fish to become a true martial master. So he sets sail in the Lotus River shortly afterwards. Here Wade realizes that he'll face difficulty on this mission because of his tiny raft. He needs a bigger boat first. Despite fishing for a while, his luck hasn't allowed him to find any spiritual fish so far. Wade turns to his system, realizing that his fusion process has reached 37%. He thinks that even capturing 1 spiritual fish could help him transcend past the first barrier. His attention is thwarted by a sudden sound. The waves tumble around his little raft and begin to crash into him. Wade is worried and has no idea what's going on. Just ahead, a fierce battle is taking place between a powerful primordial toad squaring off against a gigantic bird. Both creatures are inching hard, but the toad is sent crashing into the water, causing an enormous wave to not only tower over our boy but also sweep all of his hard-earned fish into the river. The raft is crushed, but luckily Wade makes it out without any injuries. The almighty bird screeches loudly. Its sound alone is actually a form of a mental attack that wounds our boy and knocks him out. Wade wakes up in the next scene, realizing that he was unconscious again. Bro loves going into a coma every time he goes fishing. Luckily, his summon saved his ass, but the primordial bird was strong enough to knock him out in one blow. Witnessing the fearsome hurricane before him, Wade realizes that this bird is not to be taken lightly. A beast of this caliber is out of his league. The day ended up terrible for him, as he lost all his fish and even his boat, delaying his overall progression. Interestingly, Tiny Zilla comes along and wakes him up. Next, he shocks our boy with a butterfly fish. one that he can use to break past the first barrier. Let's talk about the specifics of blood energy. It's a reflection of one's internal strength. But that doesn't mean a martial artist requires blood energy to be strong. It's the conclusion and not the cause. But at the same time, he can turn into an ever-growing cycle of growth and power. That night, Wade is busy meditating while cooking food. Instructor Hu left him with a concentration of incense, helping him to break past the first barrier stage. Brett is looking ripped as hell while he focuses energy in his chest. The idea is to train and then replenish his lost energy using the fish meat. Despite attempting 38 times in a row, Wade is unsuccessful in breaking past the barrier. Instructor Hu's words rushed through his mind, who told him to focus on stimulating his body's skin for a proper refinement. This will amount to concentrated energy in his chest. Right after sensing such an energy, Wade will maneuver it around his body, spreading it to his limbs and bones until it succumbs to skin. That is the process of skin refinement. Despite Wade's 40th attempt, he's still not quite there yet. The system outlines his stats at roughly 49% synchronization, even though he hasn't even broken the first gate yet. But Wade is optimistic about his journey and believes that right after scoring 50%, his body will experience a major shift. Unfortunately, all of the fish meat is done for, and the spirit plant is also useless. The only way to continue refining is to find another mystic fish. By the time our boy is finished with his meditation, it's already morning. Visitors knock on his door. They're both Chen Cheng and Li Dekong, the fathers of Ji Chang and Li Libo. Wade asks them if something's up, questioning why they came searching for him. Strangely, they reveal the missing incidents of Ji Chang and Li Libo. Both are nowhere to be found for 2 days. Wade calmly shares that they've actually been training really hard in the martial hall and focusing on their training during their stay. In reality, Ji Chang and Li Libo are way too injured to join Wade, and they're still in the process of recovery. The news stuns both fathers and it alleviates their worries. They're happy to see their children training hard to become impressive martial artists. Finally, they came to tell Wade about the sacrificial ceremony for the river god. Wade is stupefied about the news because his village had already held this festival 3 months ago. It doesn't make any sense, but apparently the river god revealed another sign, forcing the villagers to hold the festival again. From their conversation, our boy realizes that these guys are actually talking about the damn toad that fell out of the sky. Wade assures them that he'll contribute his money and join along when the festival is held. In the next scene, we're inside the Lotus Cave. Here, Wade steps out of the water and maneuvers his body with the currents before plunging back down. Overgrown Zilla is already there waiting to snap his body, but Wade quickly dodges him as part of his training. So far, he can compress water into 10 liters, with each liter unleashing a whopping 15 kg of force. Using it as a water slash, Wade attacks his summons but cancels it before it could hit them. The cute guys return to their tiny forms, while Wade feels satisfied with his current level of strength. He's become strong enough to take 4 powerful warriors around Yunsai level at the same time. His new water blade technique is impressive, but lacks a proper weapon to materialize its full advantage. Recalling the third senior brother's words, Wade remembers that spirit weapons are available in this world, capable of repairing and leveling up on their own. The only problem with these weapons is that they require powerful materials to craft their cores. Unfortunately, Wade doesn't have anything like that, so his chances of getting on a fancy weapon like that are slim. Suddenly, he hears a mental note from Chonky Boy. It seems that Chonky has discovered something hot, glowing in the rubble. Upon closer inspection, it's the searing feather of the giant phoenix from earlier. Looks like our boy's luck hasn't run out yet. Wade realizes that he may have stumbled upon a rare treasure of some kind. It's a good thing that he already planned to return to the blacksmith shop, and now he's got free material for it too. Back at the county, Wade walks his way to the shop. Here he searches for the forge, but his eyes are fixed on a column of steam coming out from nearby. Wade hopes to ask about the cause of it through the senior brother. At Lu Min's shop, he arrives where the man is busy forging a new craft. Wade hands him a bag filled with his interesting finds. He unleashes the fury of the crimson fire molt feather. The senior brother is fascinated by its capture, dubbing it a real treasure to be had. Wade wonders if senior brother Lu knows about it, to which he explains that this is an invaluable find. You see, the feather belongs to a crimson flame bird, a unique creature. One of its notable qualities is that it disperses its life essence into its feathers before making its escape. Among those feathers, one of them contains the most amount of life essence, also known as the gold feather. Thanks to this feather's might, the bird can experience rebirth, discarding the rest of its previous body. Wade is thrilled by the revelation and wonders if this is also one of those golden feathers. Unfortunately, that's not the case, as it's an ordinary remnant feather. Our boy slumps in defeat and asks what he can do with this useless thing. The older brother assures him that it would be best to use it to forge a spiritual weapon instead of wasting it on energy absorption. He even asks Wade if he's decided on the kind of weapon he wants to create. Wade expresses that he's already thought of something and recalls his previous battle with the stone crab. Back then, he realizes that a spear would be his best bet, as it complements all of his techniques. Wade announces the creation of a spear, which is quite the interesting request in front of Brother Lu. The weapon is barely used in their martial school, as spears are difficult to control, but our boy is fixated on having a powerful spear by his side, and requests the senior brother to use the feather for its construction. At last, his dreams of acquiring a spiritual weapon have come to reality. The senior brother assures him that it'll be done in due time. Wade thanks him and asks about the withering smoke in the sky. Suddenly, the same harmless senior brother turns extremely angry. He's pissed off to share the existence of the Phua Temple's demise. A fire broke out, and within it something horrifying came out. Wade is frightened as the senior brother reveals the attack of the mountain demons. To uncover its tragedy, we zoomed in on Phua Temple a few days ago. One day, a lady escaped from her captives and hurried to find help. Her belly protruded, but not from pregnancy, but something sinister. She found help at last. The little boy caught her going unconscious and took her to his superiors. By the time she woke up, the elder greeted her. She had a headache and had no idea where she was. The temple master assured her safety and learned about her past. Turns out this young lady ran into a group of mysterious bandits 3 months ago. They preyed on her, blindfolding her and bringing her to their hideout. When the blindfold was off, she was hell. People were forcibly being tortured to become demons. The temple master was frightened by the discovery and asked if the people kidnapped her to blackmail for money. But the terrified woman revealed that they were actually treating the hostages as materials for pill refinement. Back at the cave, these cultists were conducting experiments on the bellies of the subjects. Then a special blade would be used to slice open the subject's belly, ripping apart their intestines until a pill was found. This special pill was their prize. One of the newbies, Aliang, asked about the pills and learned that they were created by the Great Superior. Turns out that these people are forcibly fed meat from a mountain spirit, resulting in their bellies swelling up. Right after 3 months, the same bellies turn into fetal pills, which can be further refined. Consuming such a pill allows the person to gain immortality. Curious, Aliang asked about what would happen if the pills weren't extracted in 3 months. The belly hatched and then resulted in the most gruesome outcome imaginable, one so terrifying that not even Aliang Sr. could talk about it. At the Phua Temple, this kind of tragedy was about to unfold. The little boy returned to serve some tea for the young lady, but to his surprise, the woman had already fallen asleep. The little kid began to notice a trail of blood around his feet. Lo and behold, a gruesome corpse stood before his eyes, half ripped apart. It was the lady's corpse. When the boy turned to check on her bed, he found her upper half severed and crushed. In fear and shock, he dropped his tea, until a trickle of blood spat on his head. Afraid, he dared to look up, and found the nightmare of his dreams coming to reality. The gruesome demon playfully looked down at him. The scene cuts to Instructor Lu, who is currently headed to assist with the investigation mission at the temple. The warriors are happy to have him around for assurance, though Instructor Lu doesn't consider it an honor and merely part of his duty. In reality, he's actually being sent to the temple on behalf of the steward Shang to cover up the bodies and remove evidence. He also wanted Lu to grab a few important things when the chance arises. They've finally arrived at the Phua Temple, the same sacred place where the monk is known to stay. When they opened the doors, their world broke apart. Piles of dead bodies, severed arms, and trails of blood presided everywhere. Worried for his master, the young guy ran to rescue him. Meanwhile, the others wanted to observe the scale of the situation to investigate what really happened. The corpses appeared to have bite marks all around them. All of them appear to be injected by a large insect. What's more is that not a single body survived the onslaught. At this point, Instructor Lu is regretting his decisions and wondered if the steward was talking about these victims. His attention is brought to a pattern of bloodstains. A body was dragged away from this spot. The pattern leads right into the temple, where Zhao Lu and the monk are supposed to be. The moment these guys step foot inside, they witness complete horror. The officer is stunned and Instructor Lu is more afraid than ever, questioning what kind of job Steward Zhang dealt him. In front of them is a monstrously large egg, decorated by dozens of corpses to supply it energy. To make matters worse, the door closes in on them from the outside. While the officer is busy slandering the one who closed the door, Instructor Lu thinks they're in deep trouble as the egg is moments away from hatching. The helpless officer begs to know what they're dealing with, and discovers that they're the mountain demon eggs from the Mother Phantom sect. Once a mountain demon absorbs enough energy and blood from the humans, it commences a secondary phase. The monster before them is a behemoth comparable to an unbridled stallion. Suddenly, it pierces through its shell, a cunning pale arm reaching out. It emerges fully hatched, revealing its second phase as a mountain demon. This thing looks like a sleep paralysis demon, and it's so monstrously fast that it destroys the little monk with ease. The officers can't even gear up to fight this thing as it stares down at them with its inhuman glare. Its large limbs easily grab one of the officers and knock the other one down. Instructor Lu is completely aware that he's not strong enough to fight a beast of this caliber, especially when he hasn't broken all 4 barriers on his own. His only option right now is to retreat, putting 100% of his power into smashing open the door. But the thing is, if this kind of beast escapes to the outside world, it will bring carnage everywhere it goes. The demon is busy slaughtering the officers while Instructor Liu is cowardly choosing his options. He is fully convinced that a selfish choice will be his best bet here, as he has always lived in such a way. As long as he can close his eyes and pretend that it's not happening in front of him, he will protect his father's legacy at the Zhao family. At the same time, his own actions disgust the shit out of him. The officers cry out and beg the hero to save them. Finally, Instructor Liu unsheathes his blade and draws the creature's attention. Identifying him as a threat, the monster turns to lunge upon him. He thinks it's a good way for him to test just how strong he is compared to a stallion-level threat. We take a look into Instructor Liu's past. From a young age, he swung his sword proudly, always looking forward to supporting his father at the Zhao residence. However, Liu was severely bullied by the young Shu Yuan, the 3rd young master of the household. He called him a motherless piece of trash who didn't deserve a thing. Being bullied and beat up at day, he would return home to get patched up by his father. The old man told his son to respect his elders, but even more important than that, he advised the young boy to become someone worthy of earning his own respect. That's how he pledged his allegiance to the Yang Martial School's cause. Championing the principles of the school, he wields his blade and blitzes into action, serving his duty to protect his people in the name of good. His first sword slash misses the creature's body. The monster continues to dodge each of his strikes, while Liu attempts to claim his ultimate redemption to do what's right. He vividly remembers one of his instructors telling him the story of Master Yang. Meanwhile, Liu is actually getting dominated in the fight and barely clinging on. Despite his precise and sharp maneuvers, his sword can't connect a critical blow against the mountain demon. It reminds him of the story of Master Yang's solo stride against a group of monsters. The horrific beast ends up slashing Liu's arm, ripping clean off from his body. But that's exactly the sacrificial play that he was looking for, allowing him the chance to leap over and strike. In the end, the beast is slain and the battle comes to an end. Instructor Liu admits that the demon had yet to evolve further, so it's a good thing he stopped it in time. One of the injured officers hails the young hero as their savior. However, that doesn't seem apparent to him at all. Liu saw with his own eyes how Wade came and defended his friends. That was an act of true heroism. Meanwhile, he followed orders of Zhu Yun, the bastard who ordered him to break the teeth of young children or else his own would be broken. There he stood, towering over the scared little children. He felt guilty, apologizing deep in his heart, but it was the only way for him to become powerful. So he carried on and committed the vile deed. Shortly after Liu's fight against the mountain demon ended, more officers arrived to investigate the burned remains of the temple. Here they discovered a scorched body. Both Instructor Liu and the mountain demon died together. The officers reached down to pick up a pendant, which brings us back to Liu's childhood again. Instead of carrying the young master's order, he offered the kids something to eat. He sacrificed himself in the name of heroism, embodying his own philosophy. At the Zhao Manor, Steward Xiang is getting his ass beat again for his reckless actions. The head of the family is pissed off because evidence from the temple could seriously expose them for life. Xiang apologizes, assuring his master that they were doing the best they can to remove the evidence. Their luck is terrible because the same woman that escaped from their captivity just ended up at the temple instead. When their members caught up to find what happened, the place was covered with bodies. In that hasty situation, the steward sent Liu to clean up the mess. But the moment the instructor entered the building, members of their cult shut the doors from outside. Then they drenched the whole place up in flames, eradicating every last piece of evidence. But Master Zhao pulls his ear, scolding him for thinking that would be enough. Clearly, it would still leave some evidence behind. Having listened to their useless conversation, a powerful figure shuts them both and blames them for causing so much trouble. If only they had dealt with the woman who escaped, none of this could have happened. The Supreme Mother considers the mission a disappointing outcome and punishes a cultist to vent her frustration. Her demonic palm is set on one of the cultist's heads before bursting open like a watermelon. This is the might of the Supreme Mother, as the headless man flops before Master Zhao's feet. Next, she blesses him for his contributions to their sect. However, she also reminds them that they're fighting on the same side. Paralyzed in fear, Zhao simply agrees like a dog. But Steward Zheng Sheng is given a special threat for his son. Hearing that, he immediately submits before the superior and begs for mercy. The superior leaves the situation in their hands and exits the vicinity. Master Zhao takes a breath of relief after being spared by her presence. He's frustrated that he has to listen to the orders of the superior, especially when his family's legacy is on the line. One important detail that wasn't mentioned earlier is that Sheng and his cultist intentionally killed all of the people at the temple, just to sustain the mountain demon's growth. It seems like Master Zhao has a plan of his own, and wants to use this opportunity to escape, knowing that the court is already suspecting them. He smirks in relief, assuring himself that he'll just flee from town after the Famura Temple's situation subsides. His legacy can continue in a new foundation where Master Zhao won't be available to bother them. It's the only way for them to survive this situation without being annihilated by Dashun. But enough of that, let's go back to our boy. Wade is lost in thought, thinking about instructor Lu's end. He heard from Lilibo about Lu's heroism and attempted to stop Yunsai's terror too. But the one question bothering him is why he was appointed at the temple. The shocking part is that the Yang school didn't even receive information to send him there as part of the authorities. The whole case of the mountain demon bothers him, and Wade desperately hopes the monster is dead for good. Suddenly, someone calls out his name, snapping his attention. It's Jay Chang's father. Uncle Chen is here to inform the kid that there's actually a huge crowd gathered at Wade's doorstep. While they're merrily discussing this, a haunting revelation unfolds. The mountain demon has survived, and this creep has now set its sights on our boy as its new target.
Guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, please leave a comment in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Like the video and share it too. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.